Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's me, Bucket Ponds, and today we are looking at the Pond Ecosphere 2-year update. This tank has been running for 2 years. It is a 1-gallon sealed aquarium set up specifically to replicate a local pond in a closed environment. This is a sealed, self-sustaining ecosystem. You could also call it an ecosphere. It is planted with moss, hypno moss, and spike rush. It is also stocked with plenty of life. Creatures that I put inside here when I first set it up are still alive. We have quite a few living creatures in here. It's really astounding to me. And yeah, the tank is beautiful. The moss has grown, the spike rush has grown, and we even have some larger predatory species in here, which was a huge surprise. So, getting a little closer, you're going to see some activity in this aquarium. We have diving beetles in here. You're going to see some relatively large, strange shapes darting around in the background during the video. They are diving beetles. They are hard for me to film because they move very quickly, but they're here, and you're going to see them trace evidence here and there. But down here in the bottom, you see one of the big stars of this ecosphere. We have large aquatic earthworms. I believe they are a type of tubiflex worm, but they are not the same species that we're raising in other aquariums, and they're definitely not my white detritus worms. So we're going to zoom in a little closer on them in just a second, but you're going to see some of the activity of which I'm talking about. There are things in here, the diving beetles, kicking up a lot of the dirt, diving down from the surface. They go up top to get some air, and then they come down and they burrow into the soil a little bit. And it's just interesting to watch. And that is amazing that this 1-gallon sealed ecosystem can sustain predators like those diving beetles. You know, they hunt and consume live prey, other small creatures. And that's amazing. I haven't seen any large predators like that in an ecosphere ever before, especially not one that's been running for 2 years. But here's one of our aquatic earthworms. They're also called boogie worms, you know, by other YouTubers out here. But check it out. He slowly emerges and he just starts to wiggling. I believe they do this to move water over their bodies and absorb oxygen from the water column. This sealed aquarium works by the plants consuming CO2 and producing oxygen through photosynthesis. The animals in turn produce CO2 and fertilizer for the plants. When plants decay, they are broken down and consumed by these same creatures right here, along with some ostracods and some other creatures that help to break down the detritus or the dirt in the aquarium. And this provides fertilizer for the plants. The plants filter the air and the water. It's a beautiful cycle. It's a beautiful balance that this tank has achieved. There's another shot of the diving beetles. They are in here and they're very active. So there's at least a couple of them. I don't know if they're breeding in here. I'm not too up to date on their life cycle and the way that they live and do things, but I do know a little bit about them. And yeah, we have beetles in our ecosphere, you guys. Now it kills me. We see these other channels get all these views, but like here's a 2-year-old sealed 1-gallon ecosystem in a jar. What more can I give you guys? You know, what more can I do to impress you or to garner some support? And that being said, I thank you very much to my supporters, my subscribers, everybody that watches the videos. Love you guys. Here we have a better look at the moss and the spike rush above the surface here. There's actually some ostracods up here mixed in above the water's surface. This was a bit surprising to me. Yeah, apparently they can come up out of the water occasionally. Now they're possibly in little driplets and droplets of water stuck to the glass and to the plants. You know, as we know, inside of an ecosphere is typically a very humid environment, so it's probably pretty wet up there, and they can probably survive. But yeah, apparently they leave the water occasionally, and they hang out around the surface. Ostracods are like, they're also called seed shrimp, and they are basically tiny shrimp with little clamshells, and yeah, they live underwater. A lot of people raise them, you know, just for fun and to feed their fish. They're kind of like what you might call like a sea monkey, something like that. And here's another shot of them. The moss is doing really well up here, and it's growing pretty thick. Emerging like this might be one of the reasons that it's succeeding so well. But it could be that the combination of spike rush and sphagnum moss, or hypnomoss, excuse me, hypnomoss. It could be that the combination of spike rush and hypnomoss is just a prime method of controlling algae while also filtering the water and providing oxygen. So who's to say? I will be working with these same plants more often in the future just to see if I can't replicate the success of this pond ecosphere. Now this was set up using the Wallstad method with potting soil capped by sand. And I actually used a piece of window screen mesh in here, a non-biodegradable, I believe it was acrylic or plastic window screen mesh to hold the potting soil down. And then I put the sand on top to hide all that and to keep it, pressed down into the bottom. But this has worked out really well. The tank is thriving, and this is a sealed aquarium. I don't do anything to it. There's no air, no water, no food. Nothing gets in there other than light, and nothing comes out. So the tank runs on its own oxygen. All those creatures are breathing air that's been recycled by these plants. And even the aquatic creatures, they receive that air through the water. And that's really beautiful. They told me when I was a kid that you couldn't do stuff like this. A closed system might not last forever, but here is a world in a jar, completely separate from our oxygen and our gases and nutrients. It's all contained in this jar. There's another great look at the hypnomoss. As you may remember, if you've watched my channel for a long time, we tested several different varieties of moss that we collected locally. We tried them underwater, and we found one that worked. And here is a baby spike rush plant. This was most likely grown from a runner, like a little vine under the soil from another spike rush plant. But I love it, and sometimes it makes these really cool looking little babies. But it's a very stringy plant, and it looks different when grown on dry land. This is the aquatic version here. It's very stringy and sparse and different. But yeah, guys, this is the pond ecosphere. I have a bunch of other videos about this jar. I have the 1-year update from last year, and I have some videos of those worms actively consuming food from the bottom of the tank. So I'll link all that stuff in the description. I am extremely happy with this project. 2 years ago, I set up a world in a jar, and it's thrived. I mean, what more can I do here, guys? We've got beetles, worms, ostracods. I didn't see any bladder snails in here, but odds are there's probably a few. It could be that the diving beetles are keeping their numbers down, or, who's to say what's going on. But, I'm very happy with this project. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Share my videos if you're down with it, if you're into this stuff. I'm doing my best here, guys, and I don't think too many other YouTubers will even bring you a 2-year update on a project. Especially those fake tanks that we've been seeing a lot online. You won't even get a 1-month update because, they make a little fake tank and they throw it away and, oh wow, 1,000 views. Well, here's a real world in a jar. And thanks for watching. Oh, hey, I'm getting back to the YouTube comments, too. I'm going through answering all the old comments, some of the newer comments. Some people have been kind of rude, but I don't care. I'm going to answer you, too. Love you guys. Thanks for watching.